In Guyana's history, we have a lot at stake. What we have at stake here is the fact that you have two sides. You have the Indo-Guyanese side, and you have everybody else. Literally everybody else. It is the other half of the country against Indo-Guyanese. You can say what you want. You can fabricate whatever ideas you have. It comes down to two things. Everybody else against the Indian population of Guyana. That's the bottom line. And who are the everybody else? The Afro-Guyanese, the Afro-Guyanese sympathizers, the Afro-Guyanese sponsors, and the Afro-Guyanese ghetto, all against the Indo-Guyanese. We have to be realistic to understand that the Amerindian is not counted in this equation. The Chinese, the Europeans, they're not counted in this equation. It comes down to two groups of people, blacks versus Indians. It has always been that case. And unfortunately, until the PNC party, the PNC as a party, until that is disbanded, dismantled, dissolved, extinguished, cease to exist, every time we have a general election, you will always have these issues. Because like every other country, whenever it comes a time where citizens must stand up and represent what they talk about, what they claim to believe in, what they pretend to embrace, every time that happens, the people who always are in opposition, against, and refuse to join the masses are the Afro population of that country. Always. Africans do not unite for betterment. It is something within the DNA, and it's not about slavery. Because of slavery, they united for the betterment of the abolishment of slavery. But it is a default thing whereby the average or the typical Afro person, black person, his or hers first reaction to a situation is negative. They project negativity. They expect only bad things. So when something good happens, they're shocked. They question that. In their minds, no. Because nothing good should happen to a black person. That's not what the rest of the world says. That's what the black person himself is thinking. So if something good happens, he is suspicious. He questions that. He looks around to see who's trying to set him up, because he does not expect anything positive. And also her, the black woman. So you find, because of that handicap, when it comes to the Afro person, they move through life with that kind of orientation. They do not make an effort to make no significant investment unless somebody comes and say, hey, I'm going to sponsor you. The onus is on the person who's sponsoring them to make it a success. But they would not take the risk upon themselves simply because they never think that anything good can happen. So you find everywhere you go, the neighborhoods that are predominantly black are underdeveloped. They're struggling. There's so much toxicity, so much violence, so much crime. And you wonder why. This is why. Because they all have a similar thought pattern. They all think the same way. Nobody will come out to make an investment, even though they may have the resources, simply because in their mind it's a waste of time. The rest are not going to support me. I'm going to fail. So they will leave that thing how it is. When one finally comes out and make an investment, the other one is saying, what does he think he is? Who does he think he is? I'm going to show him that he's not going to be successful. I'm going to destroy his business. I'm going to send people to rob him. I'm going to burn his shop down. Negativity. Because they do not expect anything good happening to them and for them. They are comforted in misery. They feel safe in poverty. Because to a black person, poverty is his designation. So in other words, if he gets the opportunity to be rich, he is expecting the time to come when he would revert back to the state of poverty. So everyone he's suspicious of, everything he's suspicious of, because he doesn't think he deserves to be in the position that he's in. He thinks it's accidental. But when they are in poverty, they don't want you to disturb that. They don't want you to come with promises. They don't want you to give them a motivation or inspiration to leave, because in their mind, what are you doing? You're trying to set me up. You want to embarrass me. They're safe in poverty. This is a universal problem with black people, what I've just identified there. But this is not about going into that direction. At some other point, I'm going to get deeper where that's concerned. But my point in making that remark is what I've been saying before. The Ali Jagdeo government would always, in infinity, always face Afro-Guyanese stumbling blocks. Always. Because the programs and the investment and the policy of the Ali government or the PPPC has always been, from the inception, Chedi has said, we fight for the working class. There's a reason why he distinguished working class. Because the mind of the Indian, the typical Indian, is that you cannot achieve unless you work. You cannot be successful unless you work. So if you want to progress, you must have the mentality of being a part of the working class. Every elite, middle class, upper class groups in society, they did not get there overnight. They worked their ass off. They took risks, sacrifices. All of that constitutes working to get there. So they understood the value of their achievement and they cherished that. They will do whatever it takes to protect that. So when you talk about when the PPP's policy targets the working class, all the programs of the government is to affect and help people who have the ability, the interest, the motivation, the desire to work. If you are such a person, then the PPP's policy automatically accommodates you. But if you have no intention, if it is not a part of your DNA to work or see yourself in that group as a working class, everything that has to do with industry, that has to do with development and progress, you will do your best to stop it, destroy it, and to deviate those who are in that particular avenue from getting there. The people who are always criticizing progress, questioning progress, trying to block and destroy progress, are Africans.